If female desire were physical, it would respond the same way every time. But it doesn't. That's why the same woman can feel deeply drawn one moment and completely disconnected the next, with nothing visibly changing. Stay till the end, because once you understand where female desire actually begins, you will never see attraction the same way again. Female desire does not begin in the body. It begins before the body is even involved. It begins in the way her mind reads the environment around her. Before touch, before closeness, before intimacy, her system is already scanning. Not consciously, automatically. Is this space safe? Is this person emotionally present? Is there awareness here, or only intention? These questions don't come as words. They arrive as sensations, a softening, closing, a quiet sense of comfort or unease. This is why female desire cannot be forced, rushed, or triggered mechanically, because her desire is not a reaction. It is a response to how she feels inside herself while being with someone. When her nervous system feels relaxed, desire becomes possible. When her nervous system feels alert, distracted, or emotionally unsupported, desire does not disappear loudly. It simply never activates. She may still participate, still be present, still care, but the internal spark is missing. This is the core misunderstanding. People try to stimulate the body while ignoring the mind that controls it. Female desire is not about stimulation first. It is about interpretation first. What her mind interprets as safety, emotional awareness, consistency, and understanding creates the internal state where desire can exist. Without that state, the body protects itself by staying neutral. This is not rejection. This is regulation. Her system is designed to open only when the environment feels right. That environment is psychological, which is why desire can disappear in relationships that look healthy from the outside. Nothing dramatic happens. No major conflict. Just emotional presence slowly fades. Attention becomes divided. Understanding becomes assumed. Listening becomes shallow. Her mind notices long before her body does. And when the mind disengages, desire follows quietly. She doesn't stop wanting closeness. She stops feeling met in it. This is the foundation most people never learn. And without understanding this foundation, everything else feels confusing. Once a woman's mind stops feeling met, it doesn't react with anger first. It reacts with distance, not emotional distance outwardly, but internal distance. She begins to feel like she is with someone but alone inside herself. And this is where desire quietly starts to fade, because desire requires openness, and openness requires emotional safety. Her system doesn't ask, "Is this exciting?" It asks, "Can I relax here?" If she cannot relax, her body does not follow. This is why female desire is deeply connected to how emotionally seen she feels. Not complimented, not desired. Seen. Seen in her emotions. Seen in her shifts. Seen in the subtle changes she doesn't even know how to explain. When that seeing is missing, she adapts. She becomes more self-contained. more inward, less expressive. Not because she wants to pull away, but because expressing without being received feels unsafe. And safety, once broken, is not repaired by effort. It is repaired by consistency. Her desire responds to patterns, not moments. One good night cannot undo weeks of emotional absence. One conversation cannot repair a long period of being misunderstood. Her mind tracks continuity. Does this person stay present when nothing is demanded? Does attention remain when nothing is exciting? Is emotional awareness stable or situational? These answers form quietly over time, and her desire adjusts accordingly. This is why pressure backfires. When someone senses her pulling away and tries to pull her closer, her system tightens, not because closeness is unwanted, but because closeness without safety feels invasive. She doesn't need intensity. She needs attunement, the ability to feel emotionally synchronized, not led, not chased, not analyzed. Synchronized. When attunement exists, desire emerges naturally. When it doesn't, desire cannot be forced into existence. This is the second truth. Female desire is not motivated by wanting more. It is protected by needing less tension, less emotional guessing, less pressure to perform, less fear of being misunderstood. Her desire doesn't want stimulation first. It wants permission to rest. And rest is psychological. There is a moment that often goes unnoticed. A moment when she realizes that her emotions are being managed instead of understood. She feels it when her feelings are met with solutions instead of presence. When her words are heard, but not felt. When her inner world is treated like a problem to fix rather than a space to enter. And this is where desire changes shape. Because desire is not built on being handled. It is built on being held. Emotionally, when she senses that her emotions require explanation to be accepted, she begins to simplify herself. She shortens her sentences, softens her reactions, avoids depth, not to deceive, but to maintain connection without conflict. This adaptation looks like maturity on the surface, but internally it creates a quiet disconnection. Her desire doesn't disappear immediately. It waits. It waits for emotional permission, for a sign that she can be fully herself without correction, that her emotions don't need justification, that her inner world doesn't need editing. When that permission doesn't come, her system closes slowly, not as punishment, as protection. This is why female desire often fades without arguments, without drama, without warning, because the withdrawal happened internally long before it showed externally. Her body follows her emotional reality. If her emotional reality feels constrained, her desire constricts. If her emotional reality feels free, her desire expands. This is why emotional safety is not about reassurance. It is about non-resistance, the feeling that her emotions can exist without being redirected. When she feels that freedom, desire becomes spontaneous. When she doesn't, desire becomes conditional, and conditional desire eventually becomes absent. Her nervous system is not responding to attraction cues. It is responding to emotional permission. This is the layer most people never understand. They try to make her feel wanted, while she is trying to feel allowed. Allowed to feel deeply, allowed to change, allowed to exist without performance. When that allowance is present, her desire is natural. When it's missing, desire feels like effort, and effort is the enemy of attraction. There is another quiet shift that happens when emotional safety is missing for long enough. She stops anticipating closeness, not because she doesn't want it, but because anticipation without fulfillment teaches the nervous system to stop hoping. Anticipation is where desire lives. It's the space between now and what might happen. The emotional openness that says, something meaningful could occur here. But when her system repeatedly experiences closeness that feels emotionally flat, that space collapses. She no longer leans forward internally. She stays neutral. And neutrality is the opposite of desire. This is why female desire is so sensitive to emotional consistency. One moment of depth followed by long stretches of emotional absence creates confusion inside her system. Confusion leads to caution. Caution leads to distance. Her mind begins to protect itself from disappointment by lowering expectation. She doesn't think, I don't want this anymore. She thinks, I won't expect anything. And desire cannot survive where expectation has been withdrawn. This is the part that feels invisible from the outside. She may still engage, still share moments, still appear connected, but internally, she has stopped preparing herself emotionally. She is no longer opening space inside for something to arrive, because arrival hasn't been reliable, and desire is deeply tied to reliability. The sense that when she opens, something meets her there. When that sense disappears, her system conserves energy. She becomes calm, composed, contained, not cold, regulated. And regulation without emotional resonance feels empty. This is why desire often fades quietly in long-term connections. Not because attraction died, but because anticipation did. And without anticipation, desire has nowhere to grow. Her system isn't rejecting intimacy. It's avoiding emotional letdown. She has learned that wanting deeply costs her something, so she wants less. Not consciously, automatically. This is not a flaw. This is adaptation. Female desire is adaptive by nature. It responds to emotional environments the way lungs respond to air. If the emotional air is thin, desire cannot breathe. Over time, this adaptation becomes her new emotional baseline. She no longer feels the sharp pain of loneliness. She feels something quieter, emotional neutrality. And neutrality is far more dangerous than pain. Pain demands attention. Neutrality convinces the mind that nothing is missing. This is how she stays in relationships while feeling internally alone. Her system has learned how to function without emotional nourishment. She becomes self-sufficient emotionally. She carries her thoughts alone, processes her feelings alone, calms herself alone, not because she prefers it, but because relying on shared emotional space stopped feeling reliable. And once a woman becomes emotionally self-contained, desire changes fundamentally. Desire requires openness toward another, but self-containment closes that opening. Not aggressively, not intentionally, just quietly. She no longer reaches out emotionally. She no longer waits to be met. She no longer risks vulnerability that might not be received. Her inner world becomes private. This is when people say, "She changed," but she didn't change. She adapted. Her system learned that depth was safer when kept inside. And desire cannot thrive in isolation. It needs circulation. It needs exchange. It needs emotional movement between two people. When everything moves inward, desire turns inward too, into fantasy, memory, imagination, or detachment. This is why some women feel desire alone, but numbness in connection. The desire didn't disappear. It lost its relational outlet. Her mind no longer associates closeness with emotional fulfillment. So even when physical closeness is available, her body doesn't respond the same way. Not because she doesn't care, but because her system is no longer oriented outward. This is the deepest truth of this topic. A woman can feel deeply lonely in a relationship, not because love is absent, but because emotional reciprocity slowly disappeared. And when reciprocity disappears, desire has nowhere safe to land. And this is the truth most people never understand. Female desire doesn't begin in the body. It begins in perception, in how safe she feels, how seen she feels, and how deeply she feels understood. When desire is treated as something physical, it fades quickly. But when it is nurtured psychologically, it becomes something far more powerful, quiet, lasting, and deeply human. If this shifted the way you see female desire, then this series will take you much deeper. Subscribe to Voxlore Audio, because this is only the beginning of understanding what most never look closely enough to see.